Hey kiddos, welcome back. It's Mr. Hummer again, and today we're going to talk about the periodic table of elements. In our next unit, we talk in detail about the periodic table, but at the end of this unit, I really think it's important just for us to show you the periodic table and talk about some important vocabulary terms that we're going to be using a lot, not only through the next unit, but for the rest of the year. So we're going to get right after it. Here's a copy of the periodic table, and below that are the vocabulary terms I want to go through with you today. The first term is group. Now on the periodic table, a group is a vertical column. So we're just going to write group vertical column on the periodic table. And it turns out there are 18 of these groups, and we're going to number them 1 through 18. Groups on the periodic table are also known as, aka, families. So in the next unit, you're going to hear me refer to these groups as families quite a bit, and we'll talk about why later. So let's go ahead and number our groups. The first group is the first element in the first group is hydrogen. We're going to call that group number 1. And then beryllium is at the top of group 2. Scandium, group 3. Titanium, group 4. And then we're just going to go across, and you should end up, if you number it correctly, with 18 groups. So let's go ahead and do that quickly. Boron is group 13, at the top of group 13. 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. Helium is at the top of group 18. So there are 18 groups on the periodic table, and we identify them by numbers. Next vocabulary term, period. Periods are horizontal rows. That means they lie down, so to speak, on the periodic table, and there are 7 of them. So we're going to number them 1 through 7. The first row consists of hydrogen and helium, and we call that period number 1. The second period begins with lithium and ends with neon. The third period, 4th, 5th, 6th, and there are only 7. The 7th begins with francium and ends with, this unnamed element at the time. It actually is named now, but at the printing of this periodic table, the last element in group 7 was previously unnamed. Now, some of you might wonder about these 2 rows down here. They are actually part of period 6, this row belongs in this box, and period 7. And in addition to that, they belong to group 3. We'll talk about them in the next unit. Don't worry about them for right now. Just know that they are parts of periods 6 and 7 and group 3. All right, now what I want to do next is draw a little barrier or border on your periodic table. So I'm going to change my pen here, and I'm going to draw a line underneath the element boron, and you should do the same on your periodic table. And then between aluminum and silicon, silicon and germanium, germanium and arsenic, arsenic and antimony, antimony and tellurium, tellurium, polonium, and polonium and astatine. Okay, so draw that line there, and then what we're going to do is we're going to talk about metals, nonmetals, and something called metalloids. So, are you caught up with me? All right, good. So, for metals, metals on the periodic table we're going to write are on the left side. Of the periodic table. Now when I say the left side, I'm talking about the left side of that line we just drew. And I'm going to put in parentheses, not hydrogen. Hydrogen's not considered a metal. So what I'd like to do is I want to color in all of the metals on our periodic table. And let's pick a color here. Let's change it from red. Maybe we can go with this blue color here. And let's see. All the metals we are going to color in this blue color. So I'm going to start over here on the right hand side, and I'm going to start by coloring in bismuth. Now don't color in polonium or antimony yet. We're going to color in this element We're going to color in lead, and we're going to color in tin. Be careful, don't color in germanium. We'll leave those uncolored for right now. And then we're going to go down here and go all the way up to gallium. And then the next row. All of these are metals, kiddos. So if you have a highlighter or a crayon or a colored pencil, pick a color. I'm just choosing blue. And you can color in all of your metals. There are all of these elements on the left side of the periodic table. When I say the left side, I'm saying the left side of that red line that I drew in. And all of these at the bottom, these are all metals. So you're going to see that most of the elements on the periodic table are metallic, aren't they? Yeah, there's a bunch of metals. Now, when I get to groups 1 and 2, I'm going to be a little bit careful. I'm going to color in all of group 2, because these are all metals, aren't they? Color in all of those. And then for group 1, let's not color in hydrogen, okay, kiddos? Because that's actually not a metal. All right, so I think I got them all. Once again, on the red line, that solid red line to the left, I forgot one, aluminum. There you go, almost forgot aluminum. Aluminum is considered to be a metal, so let's color it in. All right, next are nonmetals. So what are nonmetals? Well, let's go back to our red pen. And let's define what a nonmetal is. Let's see, metals we said were on the left side. Nonmetals are on the right side of the periodic table. And we are going to include hydrogen this time. So we're going to put with hydrogen because that's considered to be a non-metal. So let's see, let's pick a good color here. Let's see, how about something maybe yellow? You guys like yellow? All right. And we're going to color in all of our nonmetals in yellow. So we're going to pick those on this right-hand side. So we're going to have all of these, radon, xenon, krypton, argon, neon, helium. Okay, all of these are nonmetals. Now, as I get close to the red line, I'm going to be a little bit careful. I'm going to color in selenium, sulfur, and oxygen, but I'm going to leave tellurium and arsenic not colored in quite yet. Phosphorus and nitrogen, those are definitely nonmetals. Carbon, and that is definitely a nonmetal. And then we're going to hop over here to hydrogen, and we're going to color that in yellow. That is a nonmetal. So all of our nonmetals are now colored in. Okay, and finally, let's go to our metalloids. Let's go back to our red pen real quick, and we'll define what a metalloid is. And we're going to put that the metalloids are on the line. And you guys know what the line is now, don't you? On the line. Between metals and the nonmetals. Not aluminum or astatine. So let's just go ahead and list all of these metalloids. There will be boron, silicon, germanium, antimony, I forgot arsenic, tellurium, and polonium. Those are our metalloids, and they're the elements that are on the line that are not yet colored in. So let's find another color for the metalloids. So let's see, what haven't we used yet? You guys okay with green? Yeah, let's do green. All right. And we're going to color in our metalloids. So we have PO, polonium, tellurium, antimony, arsenic, germanium, silicon, and boron. So they're sort of on the line. We colored those in green. So now we have groups identified, we have periods identified, and hopefully you can figure out where the metals, nonmetals, and metalloids are. So what if I were to ask you a question like this? Let's change colors one more time. Let's go to something, we'll go a little darker here. And let's say I were to identify this element right here, sulfur. And I were to ask you, okay, tell me what group it's in, tell me what period it's in, and then identify it as a metal, nonmetal, or metalloid. You ready? Did you say group 16? Did you say period number 3? And did you identify it as a nonmetal? Right, it's on the right side of that line. Okay, what if I asked you this? What if I said identify the element in group number 9, period number 4, and tell me if it's a metal, nonmetal, or metalloid. So group number 9, right here, period number 4, right here. Did you identify the element CO or cobalt? And did you call it a metal? All right, very good. What if I were to say, find the element antimony? Its symbol is SB. Identify its group number, period number, and then tell me whether it's a metal, nonmetal, or metalloid. So find antimony, SB. There you go, you found it. It's in group number 15, period number 5, and it's a metalloid, isn't it? All right, outstanding. I think that's great for today. This is just your introduction to the periodic table. We're going to use this a lot more this year. We're going to have a big discussion on how it was developed in our next unit. Okay? See you soon. Bye-bye.